distance to the solution. The time to discuss Liberia is now. What are the issues affecting Liberians? How can these issues be solved? Who are the actors? Remember, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. Join the discussion live on LNTV, All Things Considered, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 to 7:50 p.m.
Join your host, Boema J.V. Boema, creating the platform for an exclusive dialogue on LNTV.
Good evening, welcome to the program All Things Considered. My name is Boema J.V. Boema. Tonight we'll bring you a full display of President Dr. George Manawia's speech yesterday. We'll give you an analysis about the speech that was delivered by the President on Monday, January 28, 2019, where he addressed the joint legislative session of the Liberian legislature. We'll talk about the President update to the legislature on the state of the economy, the education, that of agriculture, the 16 billion Liberian dollar saga, and many other issues that were revealed in the President address at the joint legislature on Monday. Keep watching.
Running away from any problem only increases the distance to the solution. The time to discuss Liberia is now. What are the issues affecting Liberians? How can these issues be solved? Who are the actors? Remember, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. Join the discussion live on LNTV, All Things Considered, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 to 7:50 p.m.
Join your host, Boema J.V. Boema, creating the platform for an exclusive dialogue on LNTV.
Welcome back. This is the All Things Considered, and like I told you, tonight we're going to be playing key emphasis on the speech that was delivered by President Dr. George Manawia before the joint legislative session at the Liberian legislature on the Capitol Hill. So, like I told you earlier, we're going to be talking about that speech. The President appeared before the joint legislature. He spoke about progress made in the country. He laid key emphasis also on the number of legislations or laws that were presented before the national legislature for their actions. He spoke about legislation which seek to ratify the financing agreement that also seek additional financing for the West Africa Power Pool. He said the amount of 45.3 million United States dollars, comprising a grant component of 22.6 million United States dollars and a loan component of 22.7 million United States dollars, is what this particular legislation seeks to be able to address the current situation of electricity in our country. He said the objective of this act is to support government effort in providing reduced and affordable cost of electricity that will be efficient and reliable for the Liberian people in both the rural and urban areas. The West African Power Pool project also seeks to strengthen Liberia's diplomatic ties and cooperation with our sub-regional counterpart, as the power line runs from Cote d'Ivoire to Liberia and goes to Sierra Leone and Guinea. So this is one of the laws that were pushed by this government upon ascending to state power. The President was able to ensure that that law is passed, which seeks to address the issue of electricity, to also give us, all of our people in the leeward areas, an opportunity to have access to affordable and reduced electricity, and affordable and quality electricity in every community, in every village across Liberia. He also talked about the act to name Bali Island and the Mahatma Gandhi Convention Center. That is the island that you see around the Vital Belt, connecting to the main, connecting to Johnsonville. There is an island when you crossing the bridge. You will see an island on your left, on your right rather. When you come into towards town, you will see it on your left. That island will be developed into a mini city within the Montserrat County. And he said that the law that seeks to be able to ensure that that particular island can be developed, that law has already been legislated by the national legislature. So plans are now on the way for that project to start. As I speak to you, the government has already started connecting the road between a battery factory to that of Bali Island. So very soon we're going to see a very huge city. The Indian government has committed to do a very serious project over there, the National Convention Center, and that process should also take into consideration the necessity for effective administration and need, to bring services closer to the people across Liberia. So those are some of the things. And the president's speech also lay emphasis on the state of the economy. He reminded the Liberian people that when he came to power, the economy was not in a good shape. But he has been able to make several efforts. One of the areas that the president spoke about was the issue of the high exchange rate. When this government came to power, the rate was just going from one stage to another, from one level to another. But because of the effort of President George Manawia's government, when the president addressed the country in late July, where he set up an economic management team, instructing that team to go about to see how they could be able to stabilize the economy for the country, they were able to go to work, and the government took a very drastic step by infusing the sum of 25 million into the economy. That 25 million was used to stabilize the exchange rate, and as of December 2018, a total of 17 million United States dollars was used for the intervention. The president informed the Liberian people that between July to 2018 to December 2018, the sum of 17 million United States dollars was used as part of the intervention, as part of the fund. Was used as part of the intervention fund to be able to address the issue of the high exchange rate in the country. And you all can attest to me that as a result of this intervention, we're able to experience a very stable exchange rate market. The US dollar was able to be stabilized between July to December, and up to now, the economy of our country, the exchange market, continued to be stabilized. That is due to the effort of President Dr. George Manawia economic management team that he set up to be able to address this situation. The president did not stop there. He said the remaining 8 million that was left has been reserved by the central bank as a precautionary intervention fund. That is a fund that will be used for any eventuality. For instance, if we experience what we experienced in July, this money will also be used to address this situation so that we can, he said, he further emphasized that as a sustainable remedy, that is to be able to address this issue of exchange rate for once and for all, the central bank is concluding arrangement on the use of various monetary instrument policy, including the introduction of a standing deposit facility and a standing credit facility and CBI index bills and note to ensure a more stable macroeconomic environment in 2019. So this government is doing everything humanly possible to see how they could be able to stabilize our economy, more especially the issue of the exchange rate. Because if the exchange rate is not stabilized, there will be our economy, there will be a lot of problems in the economy. So President Weah is saying that the government is doing everything humanly possible to see how they could stabilize the economy in 2019. So it is important, he said, it is important to mention that the broken economy inherited by our administration caused by the risks associated with the democratic transition in 2017, collapse of the country's major export commodities, prices on the global market, the army withdrawal, and the effect of the Ebola virus disease in 2014 is still in a struggling state. It is true that President Weah acknowledged that even though we inherited this broken economy, we are still struggling to see how we can address it, because the problems that led us to this point, those problems are still looming around. So we are still fighting hard to see how we can solve it. The president was very sincere about the state of the economy, but he did say that indeed, even though all of these challenges stem, we've been able to experience some drastic improvement. For instance, our GDP was able to grow from 2.5% to 3%. So that is a very remarkable point. And he said by 2023, we expect the economy to grow by a further 4.7%. That is how a determined president talked. The president came and the economy was telling our GDP was 2.5. Within 1 year, we've been able to increase it to 3%. And between now to 2023, President Weah has made a commitment that there is a possibility that we can hit 4.7% on account of further expansion in commercial gold production, growth in the agriculture and forestry sector, formation of special economic zones, and other economic reforms envisaged under the proper agenda for prosperity and development. Even with this optimistic recovery forecast, our projected growth rate are still below the pre-Ebola period, when the economy grew on average by 7.5% annually. So I want to play the clip so that you too can be able to actually hear from President Weah.
It is important to mention that the broken economy inherited by our administration, caused by the risks associated with the democratic transition in 2017, collapse of the country's major export commodity, prices on the global market, the UME withdrawal, and the effects of the Ebola virus disease in 2014, is still in a struggling state. Despite these peculiar adverse economic circumstances, growth in real growth domestic product recovered at 2.5% in 2017 and was projected to rise to 3% at the end of 2018. By 2023, we expect the economy to grow by a further 4.7% on account of further expansion in commercial gold production, growth in the agricultural and forestry sector, formation of special economic zones, and other economic reforms envisaged under the proper agenda for prosperity and development. Even with these optimistic recovery forecasts, our projected growth rate are still below the pre-Ebola period, when the economy grew on average by 7.5% annually. Honorable members of the 54th legislature, during the period under review, the Liberian dollar performed poorly against the United States dollars. The average Liberian dollar exchange rate with reference to the United States dollars depreciated from 117 Liberian dollars to 1 United States dollars in 2017, to 157.8 Liberian dollars to 1 United States dollar at the end of 2018. At its lowest value before the government intervention, 1 United States dollar were being exchanged at 180 Liberian dollars. This massive depreciation of the Liberian was Liberian dollar primarily driven by the deteriorations of the country's terms of trade and an increase in demand for United States dollars to service imports. Other factors were the legacy of the Ume drawdown and the Nigerian adverse impact the Ebola crisis. To help stabilize the situation, I delivered an economic speech in which I mandated the economic management team and the Central Bank of Liberia to find solutions to exchange rate and other macroeconomic problems. As a short-term quick fix, the government approved 25 million United States dollars to enable the central bank to intervene in the foreign exchange market. As of December 2018, a total of 17 million United States dollars was used for the intervention, which significantly contributed to the general stability in the exchange rate for the past 6 months, July to December 2018. The balance, 8 million United States dollars, is reserved by the central bank as a precautionary intervention fund. As a sustainable remedy to the exchange rate problem, the central bank is concluding arrangements on the use of various monetary policy instruments, including the introduction of a standing deposit facility, a standing credit facility, and CBA index bills and notes.
Okay, welcome back. You know, this is the All Things Considered. Like I told you, we are going to give you a play-by-play analysis of the president's address before the joint legislature or the joint legislative session at the Capitol building on Monday. Now we're going straight to the 16 billion saga. You know, before this time, a lot of people were saying how the government is trying to hide something. The government do not want to release the report, how the USAID had completed the investigation and submitted the report to the government, and that the government, this government was trying to avoid releasing the report to the public. When President George Manawe appeared before the joint legislative session at the Capitol on Monday, he said that let me read exactly what the president said before I go into any further comment. He said during the year under review, the news media in Liberia was saturated with stories alleging that containers of Liberian dollar imported by the central bank were missing. He said, given the gravity of the allegations, our administration took several actions in response, including setting up a special presidential technical committee to investigate. He noted, in addition, the government requested the assistance of the European Union, the African Union, the United States government, and the Economic Community of West Africa State, ECOWAS, to help in conducting a separate external investigation into the alleged missing money. With the assistance and support of USAID, an audit team from CRO of London and England was invited to independently investigate and report findings. He disclosed that the report from the CRO audit team is expected at the end of February 2019 and will be released to the public by USAID. The president further stated that if it is established that there has been any willful act of criminality, negligence, or malfeasance by anyone implicated in the report, the full weight of the law will be brought to bear. So the president is saying that if anyone is found guilty, that if there is anything to link anybody to this, that to say indeed that yes, something went wrong, that this money got missing, according to what a lot of people were saying, if the president is saying that if there is anything to find out indeed that somebody was involved in this particular matter, you will not go unpunished. You know, sometimes this is why we encourage you to always watch the All Things Considered, because here we give you the factual information about what unfolds in our country. So many people try to place sentiment on issues that they're not supposed to put sentiment on. They've been saying how the report is out, the government don't want to talk about it, how some people were implicated. There is no report out. At the end of February, this government, by the grace of God, the USAID, the other company that they hired to conduct the audit will be releasing the report. And the USAID will submit that report to the government. The president is saying, and I repeat, he said, if it is established that there has been any willful act of criminality, negligence, or malfeasance by anyone implicated in the report, if it is established that there is any willful act, that somebody was involved in criminal act, somebody was involved in negligence, and any act of malfeasance by anyone in this report, if the report will come out and point any finger to somebody and say, yeah, the person here did XYZ thing, the president is saying that that person will face the full weight of the law. So Liberian people, what we should do is to continue to put our hands around President George Manuel Weah. The president believes that everything about the progress of this country should be something that should effectuate the better change that you desire in your life. Other people could have decided to just lay low about this matter. When this matter came up, the president immediately constituted a task force. He did not stop there. He extended a request to the USAID, to the United States of America. He extended a request to other international bodies, including IMF and ECOWAS, requesting that they come and assist in the investigation process. That is what a responsible government, a responsible leader does. When they believe that indeed the people's power, that the people, the individuals who gave them that opportunity are the people, they do everything humanly possible to empower those people so that they can be elevated from their poor state to a better state. President Weah is saying, let me repeat it again. He said, the president further stated that if it is established that there has been any willful act of criminality, negligence, or malfeasance by anyone implicated in the report, the full weight of the law will be brought to bear. Meaning you will face the full weight of the law. Some of us who know this president, we know he's a no-nonsense man when it comes to corruption. President Weah will not neglect the common goal of the larger majority for anybody. This is a president who came to the power on the mantra of restoring the hope of our people. He is still committed to ensuring that Liberians can be elevated from poverty. That is why he introduced the proper agenda for prosperity and development. So all we should do is to continue to pray for longevity, to continue to pray for more energy so that he can continue to do the good work he has started. The president further informed the Liberian legislature that when I came to power, I realized and I informed the Liberian people. He said, and I quote, that in my inaugural address, I stated that my greatest contribution to this country as president may not lie in the eloquence of my speeches, but will definitely lie in the quality of the decisions that I will make over the next 6 years to advance the life of Liberians. And as I have often said, I am a man of action. We know President George Manuel Weah. Some of us have worked with him for some time. We understand him well. We know what he stands for. When President Weah says, sit here, sit. When President Weah says, let's go, follow him. This is the man of his word. There is nothing that President George Manuel Weah that I know will tell you and he will not do. Except if you want to talk differently about a different George Weah. But the George Manuel Weah that sit in that presidency is a man of actions. Whatever he says, he will do it. For instance, he visited Dole community. The first day he went to Dole community, he saw the deplorable way in which the people were living. He said, no, I cannot be a president in Liberia, and right in the capital Monrovia, the road connecting the people to one of the larger communities in this county or in this Monrovia city is deplorable like this. No, not under my watchful eyes as president. He immediately went into action and instructed the Minister of Public Works to construct the road. In less than 4 months, today, Dole community enjoy not only road, not only a well-paved road that they were deprived of for more than 100 years, but today, Dole community enjoy a well-paved road and electricity. That is what we call a president in action. This is a president who believes that Liberians must be their life, more especially those people who continue to live in abject poverty, that their life must improve under this government. President Weah did not stop there. President Weah informed the legislature that my plan as a president is I have targeted 517 kilometers of paved primary roads. The president is saying I've targeted 517 kilometers of roads. Imagine somebody was in power for 12 years. They could not pave up to 1,000 kilometers of roads. This is the president that just came to power, and he is saying that my target is to construct 517 kilometers of roads. In less than 1 year, the president was able to target 150 kilometers of roads, feeder roads, some within Monserrado and other counties around the country. That is what a responsible government does. When this government came to power, President Weah said one of the actions that I took was to reduce the salaries of every government official. I said not under my presidency that government officials will be making 20,000, 15,000. No. Said those days are gone. President Weah instituted a policy that saw a drastic cut in the salaries and earnings of public officials. President Weah's aim is to make government office unattractive. You're not coming there to get yourself rich. You're coming there to render a service to our people, to change the life of our Liberian people in this country. He didn't stop there. When this decision was taken, the funds that were saved, today we can boast of a better road condition. We can boast of a digitized University of Liberia. We can boast of free public universities across this country. We can boast of electricity reaching to more than 38,000 new communities. We can boast of all of that. We can boast of the government paying more than $6 billion that the government was owing to LEC for more than 3 years. Today, the government can boast of paying that because of those drastic decisions that were taken by this government. Today, under the watchful eyes in less than 1 year, the government was able to increase their revenue intake. That is what we call a president in action. A president who believes that Liberians must be able, their life must be able to improve before the end of his first 6 years. President Weah didn't stop there. President Weah also informed the legislature that, let me read so that you guys can actually hear from the horse's mouth. I quote, during the period under review, 3 new segments of primary roads projects were initiated. The Sanikule-Lograto Road project of 47 kilometers with funding from the African Development Bank. Those of you who've been to Nimba, you can all attest and agree with me that that road was in deplorable condition for many, many years. Today, President Weah is saying that indeed that project is about to commence. He did not stop there. He went further to say, with funding from the African Development Bank and the European Union, the Ganta-Tapeta-Zwedru Road project of 225 kilometers with funding from the Liberia Reconstruction Trust Fund. Similarly, the German government has contributed 16 million United States dollars, and the World Bank has also contributed 29 million United States dollars to the Ganta-Tapeta-Zwedru Road project, and the Banga-Salaye Road project of 81 kilometers is expected with funding from to be extended to Vonyama with funding from the Arab banks. Remember now, before this government could come to power, they were already fixing the road from Ganta, from Banga to Salaye. When President Weah came to power, because of those policies that he instituted, because of those good plans that he presented to the international community. Imagine, when we were campaigning, a lot of people said that the international community will not do business with President George Weah. But today, when you look at the analysis, when you look at the figure, the number of international support that we've received in less than 1 year outweighs what others receive in their first 1 year. It shows the level of commitment and support and sincerity that this government brings to the table. It suggests that the international community believes that George Manneh Weah is a man who can indeed transform the life of our people. What we can do is to continue to rally around him, continue to help, continue to provide your own assistance so that Liberia can grow. Imagine if the road is connected between here to Vonjama. If the road is connected between here to Logwato, the men and women who travel that road, they will no longer face difficulties. The high transportation that they pay will be drastically dropped. That is what we call PROPO. Matching policies or implementing policies that improve the life of the poor people, that elevate and change their living condition and make them into a better people in their own society. President Weah did not stop there. In addition to these gains, the government of Liberia has secured funding from the Arab banks, led by the Kuwaiti Fund, for the ongoing Banga to Salaye Road corridor to be extended to Vonjama via Konea in Lofa County, totaling 109 kilometers, 195 kilometers rather. Our concessionaires, ArcelorMittal, has started the Ganta Yekepa Road project of 67 kilometers, and the World Bank has finalized funding for 6 kilometers of paved road from Coca-Cola factory to ELWA Junction. It is also worthy to mention that with support from the World Bank, the government has successfully completed the national road inventory, which includes updated data on the current state of the road network in Liberia. The government is undertaking a total of 150 kilometers of community roads in 57 communities in Monrovia and its environs. You know, sometimes I sometimes listen to people who try very hard to criticize the gains, the achievement of this government, who try very hard to present this government as a government that has done nothing. In less than 1 year, President George Manneh Weah was able to fix 150 kilometers of roads in 57 communities. You know, there's another interesting thing that this government did with regards to education. When this government came to power, you know, before the CDC-led government could come to power, we were hearing so many noise that the education was in a mess. But guess what? The first thing that this government did was to conduct a thorough review of the entire education sector to know where actually the problem was. They did not stop there. The government went further to institute a payroll cleaning a program. That payroll cleaning exercise was able to save the government the sum of $2 million United States dollars. Today, teachers that never had opportunity to be placed on payroll, today they have the opportunity to be receiving salary from government. That is what a proper governance does. A government that believes in changing and transforming the life of the people, they will always do programs that will change the living condition of the poor people. They will not think about themselves. Other people, for 12 years, this government was losing $24 million United States dollars to ghost names at the Ministry of Education. In less than 1 year, President George Manneh Weah was able to save $2 million United States dollars at the Ministry of Education. Today, teachers that never had opportunity to get paid. Today, government will pay them. Tomorrow, government say we get money. That's what we call they were receiving irregular salaries. Today, government will pay them when they get money. Tomorrow, they say we get money. But at the same time, $2 million was being lost to ghost names. Today, President Weah said no. That is why a president who believes in changing the life of his people, that's what that president does. And you sit there and say this president has done nothing? No. You must be kidding. George Weah is the best thing that has ever happened to the Republic of Liberia. We must continue to rally our hands behind him to see how he can be able to improve the living condition of our poor people in this country. Let me take a very short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation and also give you an opportunity to make a calls via the number that will be displayed on your television screen tonight. Keep watching. This is the All Things Considered.
As we enter our second year of governance, we intend to submit several new bills for your consideration to enable our administration to deliver on its proposed agenda for prosperity and development. These will include, among others, an act to rectify and authorize the payment by the government of Liberia of tuition fees for all graduate students in all universities and colleges in Liberia. The National Youth Act, Liberia Technical Vocational Education and Training Commission Act, Revised for Development and Investment Act, Honorable Speaker, Honorable President, and members of the 54th Legislature, during 2018, we issue one executive order to address a national imperative, Executive Order number 93, extension of the Executive Order number 87, suspension of tax on rice. Madam Vice President, members of the 54th Legislature, I was elected into office upon 4 pillars of our party manifesto, namely, power to the people, economic jobs, sustaining the peace, governance, and transparency. These 4 pillars, which were the core embodiment of my life's annual message and legislative agenda, are now developed into our national plan called the Agenda for Development and Prosperity, and was officially launched on 29 October 2018. The news media in Liberia was saturated with stories alleging the containers of Liberian dollar imported by the central bank were missing. Given the gravity of the allegations, our administration took several actions in response, including setting up a special presidential technical committee to investigate. In addition, the government requested the assistance of the European Union, the African Union, the United States government, and the Economic Community of West African States, the ECOWAS, to help in conducting a separate external investigation into the alleged missing money. With the assistance and support of the UC, an audit team from Crow of England was invited to independently investigate and report findings. Madam Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the 54th Legislature, the report from the Crew Audit Team is expected at the end of February 2019 and will be released to the public by UC. If it is established that there has been any willful act of criminality, negligence, or malfeasance by anyone implicated in the report, the full weight of the law will be brought to bear.
That is it. Welcome back. This is the All Things Considered. Like I told you, the president's message was packed with so many good messages, so many achievements that have been attained or made by this government in the period of 1 year. The president spoke about improvement made in our infrastructure area. The president spoke about improvement made in the economy. The president spoke about improvement made in the education sector. Another issue that the president stressed on in the education sector that I did not highlight, let me just read it to you briefly. President, we are saying in order to avoid the massive failure in the WAEC examination. Sometimes when I listen to people, they just want to say something, they don't understand it. Imagine a president who believes in changing the living condition of his people. He didn't just start by paying WAEC fee for everybody. You hear what president we are there again? Because I won't be the one saying it. I won't read it from the top. He said, additionally, to reduce mass failures among 12th graders in the 2017-2018 WASEC examinations, the Ministry of Education, with support from the national government, launched in November 2018 the WASEC Intervention Project, aimed to improve Liberian students' performance on the 2018-2019 examinations. The project provides Saturday tutorial for all 12th graders in the country, free of charge. The president is saying, I'm not only going to pay your WAEC fee, but I will also ensure that they will provide free tutorial for you on every Saturday. So that while you didn't learn from Monday to Friday, you can be able to learn it on Saturday, at least to understand. Or for instance, when you go to school, maybe due to some noise in the classroom, you didn't understand what the teacher said, you can read your note, but you come on Saturday, there a comprehensive summary will be given to you for you to understand. Imagine this is what a president, I believe, in changing the life, the living conditions of the people. This is what the president does. President Ware is not sitting down, he's not just paying WAEC fees, but he's also ensuring that these children, that he can monitor them until they pass successfully. So where are you coming from with that information that this government has done nothing? Which government ever pay WAEC fee for somebody in the country for also ensure that they go to study class? Which government? You tell me. Which government ever declare all public universities free of charge? No president has ever done what President George Manawea has done in the span of 1 year. No president. I challenge anybody to come here and say I'm lying. This kind of development, the kind of achievement that President George Manawea made in the span of 1 year, nobody has ever achieved it in the first 1 year in their leadership in this country. This is what a responsible, a leader who believes in transforming the living condition of his people, this is what that leader does. And I will continue to commend this president for the good work that he has started, because I know he's going to continue. Make your calls on 0775-046-678, 0775-046-678. You can make your call and be part of this conversation tonight. Let me take my first caller. Okay, that's the number you can call on, 0775-046-678. Hello, your name and where are you calling from? Your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Hello? Keep making your calls on 0775. Hello? Your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Your name and where are you calling from? 30 seconds.
I'm Jimmy S. Wilson calling from Logan.
What's your take?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for that president section of the president's speech. Yes, many people understand it the wrong way, but I just provide the information that we're all getting it bit by bit to understand that we're staying in public to defeat those who want to make this government unpopular. So I just want to say thank you for your hard work.
Thank you too for calling. Hello, your name and where are you calling from? Your name and where are you calling from? Okay, what's the take?
I just want to tell the president thank you for what you do for the youth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because the poor work for you to war where put money in the pocket. And then I just want the president thank you. The soccer you thank you.
Thank you too for calling. Hello, your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Your name and where are you calling for? 30 seconds.
My name is James Watson, a couple resident to be precise, Chicago Professor.
Yes, you have 30 seconds. What's your take?
You see, Burma, you see, even now they are associated until they don't know what to say again. Because all I saw monitor all individual was saying, what the president get the last people, all you will see is how he drove the charge. And then it was so surprised to get the president to all the good things there is no comment has done what the president did for 1 year.
Thank you.
I let anybody to for him.
Hello, your name and where you calling from? 30 seconds. Your name and where you calling from? Okay, so what's the take? 30 seconds. Thank you. Your name and where you calling from?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Your name and where you calling from? 30 seconds.
And good evening to our peace-loving citizens across Liberia.
Okay, Ojuku.
My name is Ojuku Ojuku. Let me appreciate you and appreciate our dynamic president for his excellent and performance to ensure that Liberia gets better. You see, anyone who will tell us that this government is not doing anything and they are not seeing a tangible or responsibility, then they need a total delivery and we need to ask the pastor and the imam to pay for them. This government must succeed. In Liberia, we will not be away by the detractors who feel they can create avenue for us to dislike our president. Liberia, you have elected as your own president, and this president is your own president. He will ensure that Liberia gets better, the road will be connected, the hospital will be built, the children will go to free school. All you can do is remain committed and remain patient. The government and ensure that your life be improved and your life be changed. May God bless Ambassador Weah.
Thank you. Your name and where you calling from? Your name and where you calling from? Your name and where you calling from? Your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling from.
Your name and where you calling from? 30 seconds. Time is now, our friend here. Your name and where you calling from? Okay, what's the take?
I want to say thanks to the president. He's doing very well for the country. I want him to continue his job. Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling from Lucida Broshi.
Okay,
I just want to commend the president for the hard work that he has done. Well, God bless him, and he shouldn't listen to any kind of negative criticism. God again the wisdom of Solomon and the age of Methuselah. I thank you.
Thank you. Your name and where you calling from? Your name and where you calling from? 30 seconds. When you call, move aside your TV, I beg you. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Esther.
Oh my, I missed you. Your name and where you calling from? 30 seconds. Yes, sir, what's the take?
Yeah, I want to commend Dr. Weah for his hard work done in the country. This president is the first president ever in Liberia to take away 16 billion within a half year.
Your name and where you calling from? Your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
Your name and where you calling from? Okay, what's the take?
I said,
all right, thank you. Your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
Your name and where you calling from? 30 seconds.
Hello?
Please move aside your television.
Hello?
Yeah, what's the take? Your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
Your name and where you calling from? What's the take? Okay, that's how we would like to close the curtains on tonight's edition. You know, let me go back to Studio 2 to be able to close the curtains on tonight's edition of the All Things Considered. Like I told you, President George Manneh Weah's achievement in less than 1 year, or in a period of 1 year, it surpasses what other people did in their first 1 year when they became president in the country. In 1 year, we were able to pay the wire fees of students in this country. Parents who could never, you know how many times people used to bear from door to door to pay wire fees? Today, George Weah is saying no to that. He was able to muster that courage to pay the wire fees of students totaling more than $2 million United States dollars. President Weah did not stop there. President Weah embarked on the pavement of more than 150 kilometers of roads in Monserrado and other parts of Liberia. The president did not stop there. The president's target is to be able to fix 517 kilometers of primary roads within this country. Tell me which president has ever done all of this development, or which president was able to sit down and make these plans in less than 1 year and present them to the international community, and international community back those plans. We need to commend this president. We need to pray for President George Manneh Weah so that God can give him more wisdom, more understanding to continue to lead our country in the direction that he's doing, because he has achieved so many gains in a period of 1 year that what most people achieve could not achieve, more than other leaders who led this country. Other people led Liberia for the first 1 year. They were confused. They didn't know what to do. But in less than 1 year, President George Manneh Weah was able to change that dynamics. He was able to bring a new phenomenon to the Liberia political landscape of our country. We need to praise him. We need to give him that flower so that he can continue to do the good work for the Liberian people. I would like to close the curtains on tonight's edition of the All Things Considered, and until Friday again, I will be right here to continue this conversation where we'll give you more detail on the progress made by this government. Between now until June, I'm going to be explaining the achievement of George Manneh Weah in 1 year. Other people say that this government has done nothing in 1 year. I will sit here and you will see for yourself those good things that this government has been able to do in a period of 1 year. I would like to thank you for always watching the LNTV and taking the All Things Considered as your show. Thank you very much. Good night.
Running away from any problem only increases the distance to the solution. The time to discuss Liberia is now. What are the issues affecting Liberians? How can these issues be solved? Who are the actors? Remember, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. Join the discussion live on LNTV, All Things Considered, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 to 7:50 p.m.
Join your host, Buema JV Buema, creating the platform for an exclusive